side.
Understood. Yes. Yes, the audience are more. Nowadays, we can Google at YouTube and get the tech articles, or
Yeah,
ChatGPT will tell hundreds of stories. so,
yeah,
so
yeah.
real use case,
It's
correct.
yeah, sorry, yeah,
Real use cases and customers' pain points that, from your experience, if
yeah,
really engage everyone.
yes, yes. Hi, Prem. Do you have a question? So, in fact, I did this same kind of webinar in our internal customer support and sales and marketing team just a couple of weeks back. Because even though we have been providing this as a solution since a year, there has been like a lot of accumulated FAQs, like uh, which we'll cover in the session, but like when it will work, when it will not work, because like if what happens is the customer comes on chat and asks the question, will DRM protect my video from screen recording? And the answer usually starts from it depends, and it's not always always clear. So I was like, yeah, how can we reduce the it depends as much as possible
True.
in any answer regarding DRM, and that's how in order to learn how to remove that it depends part, this webinar was created. Yeah.
Understood. So
Um,
instead of a very
yeah.
generic,
What do you say, Selva Mamusa? You can tell if you want to start.
yes, I think we can get start because instead of a very generic answer, as you said, you're trying to point out the right direction for the at
Sure.
least from a customer's perspective. Yes, we can get start, and then whoever is joining will keep adding them. Amada, please coordinate the queue, and if any
Hmm.
questions, please raise it on the chat. We will answer it one by one. Yes.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think we should start recording. We
Yes,
can start with
recording.
your introduction. You are the host, and I'll give a brief introduction, and then I'll take to the slide share.
Sure.
But only request there is that I won't be able to see the chat or anyone else when I'm on the slide. So, Selvam, please feel free to interrupt and ask any questions that come in chat. I would love to answer it with that slide on that topic rather than waiting for the Q&A time.
Sure. I will myself and Amata will take care of it. Don't
Sure.
worry about it. Okay. Yes, let's get start. Yeah, you can present your screen and we'll get start from there. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, okay, so it's getting recorded, right?
Yeah, correct. It's already started
Okay, fine.
recording from my end.
Yes. Yes. So hello everyone. I will walk us through, the journey of understanding how DRM works, when it doesn't work, what it does to protect video, whether it is right for your business or whatever app you are or platform you are trying to build, and uh, will it actually protect your video from piracy, or will it actually prevent your video from screen recording or not? Those are the questions that we'll answer today. I'm Divesh. I'm co-founder and CMO of Gumlet. We are a video hosting and streaming solution from India. We have done a lot of innovation in video transcoding and security space, and we provide a full suite of solution uh, across businesses, from ad tech to OTTs to e-commerce and news media. All of these various clients in each of these domains rely on Gumlet to host their videos. So yeah, with that, today we'll cover why someone would need DRM in first place. So what's the underlying need because of which businesses need DRM? Why was this technology invented? Um, and then how does DRM actually work to protect your videos, and what are the different levels of DRM? So based on the levels of DRM, it can uh, provide different level of security to your content. Then third question, how someone can implement DRM, and can it be cracked? So those will be the question, the last bit, and what can be done to prevent it, and then of course we will open the floor for any Q&A. As again, for anyone joining new, I have kept this uh, conversation as much non-technical as I can, because my aim is to uh, you know cultivate an understanding of whether DRM is useful for you or not. But the topic itself is technical, so you will see some technical diagrams. We'll get into encryption and hardware security, and those kind of things. But I hope at the end you have a clear understanding of whether what level of video security you want to use for your application. Um, yeah. So let's start with why you need DRM. Now, the thing is, everything you put on the internet can be downloaded. That's how literally internet works. I mean, everything what you put on the server in it entirely gets sent to whoever is visiting your website or opening your mobile app. The data is sent to their device. Now their device can save a copy of it by default, and we can download any JavaScript, any HTML, any images. All of those things is very possible. And in case if the application is using MP4 video, is as simple as just doing a right click and save, just like you can do with image. And that's why DRM came into the picture, because videos and video games, those kind of things which require a lot of effort to create, the cost of generation of the content was very high. So to adhere to copyright laws and to make sure that companies who are generating this content are able to generate revenue to keep making new content, uh, the industry came together and created this technology. Now, there is, before we get into DRM, there is different kinds of video, right? So, YouTube videos, you can't just right click and save. For that, you need a special plugin. Why? Because YouTube videos are in a different format than MP4, which is the HLS format, which is for streaming. HLS format generates a small segment, like 1 second or 2 second long segments of videos, and sends these small segments one after another to the client. So the client never gets the full file in one go. But again, when there is a data and there is a will to copy things, there is a way. So there are YouTube downloader and other softwares out there which can even download the HLS video. They can combine all of these small bits of video that are received, and then reverse engineer it into an MP4 file. So it is possible with special plugins. But that's where DRM comes in. DRM tries to make this kind of piracy impossible. So as I mentioned, all of the industry came together when this problem is as old as the internet itself. So the software companies and the hardware companies put their engineering resources together and decided to build a system which we now know as digital rights management, or DRM for short, with aim to protect intellectual property, to control access such that revenue can be generated from viewing access, make sure revenue does not leak. And the latest use case of DRM, by the way, quite a few of our customers are switching from a non-DRM video hosting to a DRM video hosting, because they just want their videos uh, to not get into a Gen AI database, because we are seeing companies, even more recently, even companies like Apple, who have acquired data by scraping the internet, and they are training the generative models on it, which can not directly copy your video, but they can copy the content, the style, the tones of your videos. So a lot of companies don't want that to happen. They want to preserve their unique videos, and that's why uh, to shield it from generative AI also, DRM is important. So, and any questions so far on like why DRM is needed? Because the next we are getting into how DRM works. So, any questions on why DRM is needed so far? I hear a chat sound.
Yeah, yes. Naveen, can you ask your question in the chat, or you can directly ask?
Hi, Devesh.
Yeah.
Can you tell us some videos, some like host provides the AES to 256 encryption in HLS video. So
Mm-hmm.
still we need the DRM if we are having the AES encryption on HLS media segments.
Yes. So I'll cover that. Actually, it will as a part of L3 DRM. The HLS encryption is a kind of mechanism which is very close to L3 DRM itself. It's not DRM, but like it's very close to that. So when we cover that L3 DRM and why L3 DRM can be broken, you will understand that why how HLS encryption can be broken. So the thing is that. See, whatever protection HLS encryption can provide, DRM has a step higher. L3 DRM has a little step higher above that because it comes with device authentication and technology. Now, even the L3 DRM is, it can be cracked very easily. There's lots of tools. So HLS encryption, you might not even need that much of a specialized tool. Essentially, if you are sending the data and the key, I think that's a great question. It's how we'll get into how DRM works, why it is made to work that way. So what happens in HLS encryption is the original video is encrypted with a key. Now HLS stream is sent, which is the encrypted stream, and then the key is also sent to the customer
Yes.
via different mechanism, and then this key is used to decrypt the stream and show the video. Now the thing is that the client device has both your encrypted stream and the decryption key together on a software layer. So any other software that can read the memory or can access the same data as whatever the viewing software is accessing. Any software that is able to do that will be able to get access to the uh, decryption key and the encrypted stream and decrypt it for itself. Or worst case, they can just do the screen grab. So encrypted HLS does not prevent screen capture. So there are like n number of software which can just record a screen in very high definition. So those software can easily copy something that is protected with encrypted HLS.
In DRM, is screen capturing is possible?
Not possible. So that's what we are gonna cover. How DRM prevents screen recording also.
Okay.
And that's where I understand the confusion. There is a version of DRM which it does not prevent, and those all confusion is why I created this thing. So that will come in the next 2-3 slides.
Because
We'll
we
solve
tried
it.
to capture the Netflix and it didn't work, the screen recording in the Google
That's
Meet.
because of DRM. Yeah.
Yeah, but if we stop the hardware acceleration, then the video start capturing in the Google Meet.
That will be covered because of the levels of DRM by Google. Google has made the things complicated and easy depending on the point of view. But yeah, that's why it is like that. We'll cover that in levels.
Okay,
But
thank you.
yeah,
Let's
so I mean that was great question because it allows me to segue into this. So yeah, DRM works in very similar way what I just described, right? The video is encrypted on the server side. So let's say you upload video to whoever is provider that is providing you DRM, they will encrypt the video, and then the encrypted video will be streamed, and there is a decryption key. Now, with normal, so let me take an analogy of how PDF reports you might get that are password protected, right? So from banks and other financial institutions, they send you the PDF in attachment, and in the email itself, the what is your password is described, whether it is your name or birth date or PAN number or whatever. So if someone gets the whole email package, they can uh, uh, if they know about the birth date or PAN, they can use that detail to open your PDF. So in a way, it is secure that simple is simply not visible, but it's not that secure also. It can be easily, because the decryption key, the password to open the PDF is within the email itself, right? So that's where the vulnerability comes, that the decryption key should not be made available to other softwares or non-authenticated parties, and that is where the DRM mechanism comes. So DRM, whether it's provided by Apple or Google, there is a DRM key server or DRM server. Let's keep it simple. So instead of sending the key, so for example, we take Gumlet as an example. Let's say you are using Gumlet DRM. So we'll encrypt your video and we'll stream your encrypted video to your customer. But Gumlet won't be sending the key to the customer. The customer's browser or mobile device will send a different request for key to the DRM server. And the DRM server, because it's from Google and Apple server, they have this high-level device certificate which are built into the device and software, which they authenticate that yes, this is the correct device. This is not some software trying to copy things. So they authenticate the device using the certificate they had already put in. And with those certificate authenticated, then they send the decryption key by a different route. And we'll get into the mechanism how decryption key is further protected. But that authentication of the device and sending the DRM decryption key in a separate way compared to the original video file is why DRM is more secure than anything else in the market. So yeah, now as we go into L1, L2, L3 of DRM, it will become much more clear of when it is able to prevent screen recording, when it is able to prevent download, all of those things. So currently there are two prevalent DRM providers. There is Apple who provides Apple FairPlay, which is for all the Apple devices. So if the video is playing on MacBook, Safari and MacBook or iPhone, it will use the Apple FairPlay DRM mechanism to ask. It will ask the decryption key from Apple and use that mechanism. And if it is on Microsoft devices, Windows laptops, or let's say you are running Chrome on MacBook, like currently I'm doing. If I open a DRM encrypted video, then the request will not go to Apple FairPlay, it will go to Google Widevine DRM. Now, within this, Apple FairPlay claims that all of their DRM is L1 level DRM. Apple says that all of our devices are L1 level DRM. There is no L2, L3 in Apple FairPlay. So it's always more secure. And that's what we have seen in practice. We have millions of videos streaming DRM, and Apple FairPlay is the one where there is no screen record possible most of the time, or download possible. But Google, because Google serves a much broader market, Google does not control the hardware on all the devices that are playing the video, and Google needs to play video on a software as well, all of those things. Google has to do L1, L2, L3. And I'll go into somewhat understanding of what is L1, what is L2, what is L3. So as I mentioned, there are two key parts. One is the encrypted video stream, and then there is a decryption key. Now, what happens? Am I audible? I think I lost all the audio.
No, actually, most of them are unmuted.
Okay,
Yeah, unmuted
fine.
only. So, no.
Okay, fine. I can go ahead, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So what happens in L1 is, uh, so L1 happens, L1 DRM is there in very high sophisticated devices. What these devices do is, so all of our computers have a processor and memory and some part of motherboard they are accessing. What L1 devices have is, they have a duplicate version which is on the motherboard a secure version. That processor is protected by hardware level security, that memory is protected by hardware level security. If there is any kind of GPU acceleration for video decoding, that is protected by hardware security. So that outside of Windows kernel level instructions, other things are not able to access any data that is running in the secure part of the motherboard. So imagine there is like the motherboard is split into two. There is normal processing and memory and other chips, and then there is secure processing and memory and other chips. And in L1 DRM, everything happens within that secure environment. The encrypted stream that comes enter the secure environment. The key that is coming from DRM server goes into the secure environment. It decodes the content uh, into, so encrypted content becomes decrypted content, and then the decoding of the content. So let's say your content is an MP4 file. MP4 file needs to be decoded to convert it into pixel from 0 to 1 to pixels. So that process itself also happens within this secure environment. And if you are on a laptop, it just goes directly to your screen through a secure channel. And if you are using an external display, I think this is external display, not internal display, but if you are using an external display, then external display is also protected with special uh, protocols that ensure the security. If it detects there is an external display is not secure, then it will not stream. So that's why some of the HDMI cables or some of the old VGA cables might not work with DRM protected content in some cases when the L1 DRM is there, because they require the uh, passage to external display also in with the right secure protocol. So this is L1. This is more secure. Now here, because nothing else has access, no screen recording software, nothing else on the system has access to this different hardware level secure box, and that's why L1 is able to protect the content from any kind of threat. But as you can imagine, having two different systems on motherboard is costly, right? You need twice the amount of processors. If I mean not exactly twice, but at least 1.5, 1.6 amount of processing power, that much more RAM. So it costs more. So only high level, high-end TVs, consoles, MacBooks, and Android phones have the L1 device security, just from a hardware cost point of view. That's why Google has this second layer, which is L2, which is for mid-range devices. Now, unfortunately, the problem here is that there is no official list that, okay, this devices are L1 supported, this devices are L2 supported, this devices are L3 supported from Google, as far as we know. So there is no official list. L1 and L3 are easy to guess. L2 is very gray area. So it's usually trial and error. So we let our customer choose between the levels, and we see that some users, for some user it works, for some user it does not work, and based on that we change the level of DRM security for customer. In L2 level, what happens is that the decryption key, the encrypted content comes into the secure hardware. The decryption key itself also comes into the secure hardware. Decryption key uh, is used to decode the content. So encrypted video to decrypted video file happens in secure environment. But from that point onward, the MP4 to pixel conversion, that happens on the normal hardware. So if someone writes a special program, that interrupts the memory or interrupts the data flow on a hardware level, they won't be able to, copy the content that is there from L2 DRM. Now, the normal screen recording software which abide by the rules of operating system, they will not record this video. But someone can write a software, that forces the system. I mean, it won't be a widely available software, but people who are determined to copy the content may have like that special software created, which has override permission on flags that prevent screen recording, at operating system level, and they might be able to record this content. Um, so yeah, this is there in most of the mid-range smartphones and many of the browsers and standard smart TVs that are not high-end. They use the L2 DRM. And L3 DRM, as I mentioned, is very close to encrypted HLS, in the sense that there is no hardware. As you can see, there is no red part. There is no hardware level security here. Both the decryption key and the encrypted content all are at a software layer. Again, all of this is still protected by the highest level of security the operating system can provide. But the operating system can be broken. And that's where we'll show some example. There are already some plugins in GitHub and other places which let you crack the L3 DRM. Now, it does not mean that L3 DRM is useless. Point is, if someone is trying to use OBS or something like that, very simple tools, they will not be able to access your L3 DRM content. But what it means is that if your content is super popular and someone is determined that, hey, no, I want to copy this, no matter what, they will find a way. So, that's the trade-off. If you go for the L2 or L1 DRM, some of your users who are on the low-end mobiles or they are using Firefox or older versions of Chrome, they might not be able to play your videos. We might have experienced this, all of us, at some point or other, that some video is not supported on your device. That happens because that video is that device is not supporting higher levels of DRM. So yeah, any questions on the DRM levels and what they mean when they can protect, when they can't protect your content?
Yes, I believe there are a lot of.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll switch to the chat. I'll switch my screen to chat.
No, it's okay, but there are no open questions. All are addressed. But
Okay,
right
okay.
now, I think we can move on. There is an interesting session. Everyone juggle between L1, L2, L3.
Yeah, I know. That was our. This is the crux of why this session is needed, right?
Yeah.
So, I think
Still, I have a few questions related to how the DRM works. In how the content creation, how that license is stored in their license server, and how that client is taken. In that part, I have a question. So
Okay.
you mentioned that when a user creates the content, it's encrypted using the some key. Assume that key is XYZ. So that key is sent to the some Google server or Apple server. Okay. So as a user, I assume that whatever the content is encrypted, the user is playing through his mobile. Okay, so my mobile doesn't have any, so user doesn't know where that encryption key is available, decryption key is available. So it will request directly to the Google's licensing server. It will go to someone, like if assume that the content is watching through the Netflix or through the Prime Video, where my request will go first. It will go to the Prime Video, then Prime Video will request to the DRM server. How that license is getting.
Okay, so there is something called a license URL. So when we send the video URL to the player, let's say your client is watching a video on your Android app, right? So your Android app, if the player supports DRM, and if we have enabled the DRM, the player needs a licensed server URL in addition to the content, the video URL. So there are two URLs: licensed server URL, video URL, and we would, whoever is your service provider, let's say Gumlet, would provide both the URL to the client video player when the video is requested. So both the URL will go. So the client device will send the request for decryption key to the license server URL provided by Gumlet.
Okay.
Yeah. So the license server here, there is, I'm over covering a lot of technical detail here, because the license server URL is also technically Gumlet's URL only. We have to create a proxy, like the Google server is the what gives answer, but we have to create a proxy and those kind of things. So I'm not getting into like super detail, but license server URL is sent with the video URL, and that license server URL is where they ask for the decryption key.
Okay, it means like every user who wants that content, they are going to hit that license server. If the same content million people is watching, that million requests will go to that license server.
Yes.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
In fact, that is one of the way how DRM pricing works, is how many requests are hitting the license server. So one of the way, I mean, they have different ways, different vendors price DRM. Some have like a fixed fee, some have based on video volume, and some have based on how many requests hit the license server. Gumlet use the request to license server model for DRM pricing.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Any other question? I mean, these are. I mean, after this, there is like a bunch of slide, and the talk is over. So like the L1, L2, L3 is like the main course of this talk.
Understood. Yeah, I think Naveen has raised again.
Yes.
Naveen, you would like to ask something?
Yes, I do. Okay, you told us we two URL will be given. One is the video URL and other one is the license URL.
Mm-hmm.
If the license URL is given, is it different for every video or same?
It's different for every video, and that what DRM provider can control. So we'll talk about additional layer of security on DRM later. So what we at Gumlet do is that, let's say you have to provide L2 or L3 DRM, right? You don't have an option because your users don't have the high-end devices. In that case, to provide additional security, what we do at Gumlet is we change the license URL active every 15 or 20 minutes. So that the license URL is controlled by whoever is your DRM service provider.
Okay. And when
they can keep it same, they can change it, whatever it is, the mechanism that you have to ask them, like how are you managing our license URL?
Okay, one more.
Yeah.
We have to give the downloading feature to the our app. Okay. So where should we with the DRM content key will be stored?
Okay. So there is the offline DRM thing as well. Both Apple and Google support the offline DRM. That's how Netflix allows download. So this works in mobile apps. So there at mobile level, some chip level security, the decryption key is stored along with the downloaded video, and it is valid for, let's say, 30 days or something like that. For that 30 days, that decryption key will be valid to decode the video, and that all settings can be done. But yeah, the key and video both are downloaded and saved in an encrypted way on the chip of the mobile.
Okay. It will be the HLS video or the entire MP4 video?
So DRM, as far as I understand, mostly work with HLS only.
Okay. Is Gumlet with this type of functionality? You're downloading content?
So yeah, we support offline download video with DRM. But the thing is that a lot of this coding required to do this is on a player level. Now, we provide all the necessary document and support, but we don't have our own player which support offline DRM. So there is slight a bit of limitation. Our team has to like work with your team to implement it. There will be like technical implementation, but yeah, that's a limitation. We don't have a player which supports our own player which supports offline
Okay,
DRM.
okay. Do you have the features, the same feature for LG and Tizen?
No, so we only as of now support Apple and Google CarPlay DRMs.
Okay, because if we need to give the DRM functionality to the LG Web OST and the Samsung.
Oh, I say you mean the operating system? They both support. They both are on Google Widevine.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Even Microsoft supports Google Widevine. So Microsoft, since they abandoned their own Internet Explorer and now using Chrome, so Microsoft also is moved to. Microsoft ditched their own DRM and now is supporting Google DRM.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
And I think
Devendra, yeah. So, can we have DRM only on in HLS, or it can be in SRT or RTMP feed, or any of feeds stream?
That I will need to check. I'm not sure. So DRM works for other kind of content also. So DRM is not exclusive to HLS, but whether the RTMP feed
Or
format
SRT?
supports I'm not aware of that. Whether those formats support DRM or not, that I'm not much aware of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And DRM is I mean, subscription of any video is related to DRM, or this is different?
Sorry, I didn't get a question.
Like we subscribe Amazon, Netflix, and all. So, is this part of DRM, or both the things are different?
Yeah, so things are different. So DRM is for companies. So DRM is a totally B2B technology. So DRM is for the Netflix to implement. DRM is for, let's say, Hotstar to implement. DRM is for whoever is the content provider. They want to protect content, they will implement a DRM. Now, they will make their customer use DRM protected devices only. So Netflix does not work on. So if you try to open Linux, so Linux is like the most famous ubiquitous example. Linux as an operating system does not support DRM. So you can't watch Netflix or anything on Linux because it doesn't support DRM. So that the company has to decide that we will implement DRM.
Linux is not support DRM.
Yes.
It means it's only support to Windows system. Is it?
No. Apple systems also support DRM.
Okay.
Linux as like there are versions of Linux who might support DRM also because Linux has a lot of versions, but Linux as a base operating system does not support DRM.
Okay.
So yeah. So but like Android is based on that and Android supports, right? So
Android, Windows, and Apple.
Yeah, they support. So
Not
that's the
the
thing. Yeah, content provider has to decide we will implement DRM to protect our content, and because of that, these are the kind of people who will not able to see our content, and and they have to make do with it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So with the sake of time, I'll just open up one more question. I think Tejas Singh and then
Yeah.
Khalil Rahman.
So, a couple of questions. How DRM will work in case of linear streams, like TV channels and all? Second, you during the conversation mentioned that DRM works with HLS. So, but there are various platforms which doesn't work on HLS. Roku work on Dash, and then there are various like Etisalat takes Jixi. So when we have to make a delivery, they and within their pay TV network, so they take delivery from us in Jixi. So how to manage such scenarios?
Sorry, it's not only HLS. That's what I meant. It works for Dash also. So DRM is more of a player level feature than that. So what I meant, that was in contrast to MP4. So MP4, I'm not 100% sure like what level of DRM you can implement with MP4. That's where that question came from. That answer came from. But yeah, DRM is a more of player level feature. So as long as the video player that is able to support the Jitsi stream is also DRM compliant. So how the entire thing works is Google and Apple provide device manufacturers, whether it's the TV or whoever is deciding to support their DRM. The device itself has a certificate which is in their hardware, and this certificate are derived from Google and Apple certificate. And when a request comes from a device, Google and Apple DRM server check whether this certificate is actually correct derived certificate or not, like it's a correct security certificate or not. And based on the certificate, they know whether the device is L1, L2, L3 supported, which one it is. And based on that, they decide whether to send this device a decryption key or not. And when they send the device the decryption key, it is again, the decryption key itself is encrypted. It's wrapped in another layer of encryption that the device can only decrypt with the right certificate that they have since they were manufactured. And similarly for the software level. But yeah, so the point is, if the device supports the DRM and if the player supports the DRM, anyone can build a player with DRM libraries to support DRM functionality. So if the player and this supports DRM, I don't see a problem with working with any kind of streaming format. Vijay, does that answer? I didn't.
Yeah. Sorry,
I'm not.
no, I just muted my mic. Fine, I appreciate.
Sure. Okay. So yes.
Yes, let's move on.
Okay, fine. So yeah, how does the DRM get implemented? So we have heard so much about it. Let's get into how can you actually get it for your video. So you need to get DRM license key from Google and Apple. Google DRM license keys don't cost anything. For Apple, you need to create an Apple developer account which has some yearly fees, $50 or something like that. With that, you can obtain DRM keys from them. Whoever is your DRM provider will help you do this. Then your DRM provider will encrypt your videos using the keys that you obtain. So imagine these are like special keys for your content that are recognized by Apple and Google, so that the devices can decrypt your videos correctly. Then there is a setup key server phase. So again, these are if you want to do it yourself kind of a thing. So you need to take those keys to encrypt your own videos, and you need to set up key servers. For Google, you need to set up a proxy server. For Apple, you need to set up the entire server by scratch on your own, which is they just provide some guidelines and open source code to do it, and you have to follow that and set up your key server. And then then take care of the player integration. So player side, your license server URL, how it is going to get generated, how it's going to get authenticated, managed. How do you want to manage it? Do you want to keep it same for all the videos or per video, or do you want to change it over time? All of those things. So these are the 4 steps of setup that any company needs to do to implement DRM. And as you can see, this is like quite a bit in a different direction and not a typical bit of engineering. And that's why you will find that there are lots of companies providing DRM services. What they would do is they will take your video, audio, whatever. They will encrypt, they will provide the license server URL along with the content URL, and they will help you with the right player as well. So usually whoever provides the hosting, they have to provide DRM because they encrypt the video, but it's also possible to provide DRM without providing hosting as well. So yeah, that's how to get DRM. These are the 4 steps. How I'll just briefly touch over how DRM goes with Kamle. So The process itself is very simple. We'll help you get the license server. You just need to fill up a couple of forms. Once you get the license server, you pass it on to us, and then to enable DRM on your video in Gumlet, there's just a checkbox in Gumlet dashboard that this collection of video needs to have DRM. You tick that checkbox, those videos are DRM protected, and you can select the DRM level on your videos, and you can change anytime. So by the way, the encryption decryption part of the DRM is not from the server side. The labels don't matter. Labels are a flag. So like the DRM server knows, and the license server URL has this flag that this content needs to have L3 level of security, L1 level of security, L2 level of security. So it's just as with a simple flag, it is mentioned what level of security is needed. And then the DRM server makes sure that the device is capable to provide that level of security. If it is able to provide, then it will get a decryption key. If it is not able to provide, it will get a message that the video will not play because it's not supported on your device. So another thing we get the question many times is there an added latency that comes into this? Yes, there is, but we have worked very hard on our side to ensure that the license server URL gets response very fast. The video itself does not take any longer to start. So there is an added latency, but we have made sure that latency is less than half a second because of DRM. And we support both, so most of the devices should be able to work whenever you implement DRM with Gumlet. So yeah, that's the part. But after all of this, you have seen we all know that all of the Netflix shows are pirated. How that happens, right? So that is because the effectiveness of DRM depends on the level of DRM selected, and as I mentioned, how sophisticated the attacker is. So again, in our example, Netflix is a very high value target. I don't know why people do it, but like people spend a lot of effort to crack their DRM implementation. So, but there are inherent technology-based problem as well. So, some devices which do not support L2 DRM sometimes send us wrong information to the license server that we support L2 DRM. So, as I mentioned, Google itself has no clue, and there is some gray areas as when the L2 is there. But yeah, having said that, L2 level of DRM requires specialized software and hardware, which is able to tap into bypass the OS level security and able to get that video feed. So usually, like people who have specialized software for that, they will be able to get it. Not everyone. But L2 is something which is L3 is something which is not that secure. So even in Google Chrome, L3 can, as you can see, there are Chrome plugins and things. L3 DRM can be screen shared, can be screen captured, and is easily decrypted. But again, like not with the simple extensions and things, but with a little higher level of sophistication, because L3 has no secure hardware component. So usually, consumer grade software can also crack L3 DRM. Now, if DRM can be cracked, then like is there no hope? There is some hope. That's what I would want to end this with. So depending on our client's requirement, we as a DRM provider add an additional layer of securities on top of DRM to ensure video security. So one is tokenizing the license server URL. So this was a great question at great time that how the key exchange happens, right? So with the video key, there is a license server key. Now we tokenize the license server key such that every viewer gets a different key, and that key is invalid after some time. So let's say someone is using some software to copy a video, they have to put more effort in terms of refreshing things, uh, doing it one video at a time, authenticating that uh, software each and every time. So it's not that easy that they can do it easy. Uh, just put one script and download all of video in one go. It won't be that easy because each and every view will generate a tokenized URL, and each and every tokenized URL will use your authentication method, whether it is cookie based or session based, and those kind of things. And you can put additional security features at your end that in a one session, not more than this video should be requested. So you can invalidate their session where they need to re-authenticate, so on and so forth. So we can make it hard with tokenized server URLs. Then we can add geo blocking, allowed referral, those two features. So geo blocking is very simple. So if you know that your content is very regional, like some countries in the world are not going to. So let's say you are a Kannada OTT. You know no one in Russia is watching it, or you don't want to take any chance for that small percentage of viewers that someone in Russia is able to access your video and crack it with DRM. So you can just geo block your video so that it only plays in the specific countries and does not play in other countries. Allowed referrer is it checks where the request is coming from. So it checks whether it's your mobile app or your website where the request is coming from, and someone embedding your video um, with DRM. So even with the DRM, videos can be embedded somewhere else. So someone embeds your video somewhere else, it won't play because the allowed referral restrictions is there. Then the third one is dynamic watermark. So with dynamic watermark, what we would do is we would have like uh, pop-ups on different places in video at different time. So let's say someone is like the craziest way to copy a DRM video is to put a camera in front of a screen. It will be very low resolution, but at least the content will be there. So in that case, look, like to prevent that kind of screen recording, what we can do is we can show username in different part of the screen, so it keeps moving. So it's not easy to edit it out of the video, right? So username appears in the video for each users at different interval and random location, so that if they are recording, they feel like my information will get out of it. We provide detailed analytics, so you can see per user per video level analytics that okay, this user viewed this video this much during this time and then viewed this video this much during that time. So if you know that a user is watching two videos in parallel, that's not possible, right? So based on that analytics data, you can do a Netflix kind of stop password sharing kind of a thing. You can prevent if one video is playing from one user, do not authenticate their other video request. So those kind of things. So depending on how much you feel like your users are going to, how valuable is your content, you can increase the amount of security, and we can provide those kind of security. Us or any other DRM provider can provide the kind of security to prevent your content getting stolen. And yeah, these are some of the customers for whom we provide various levels of above mechanism. But yeah, and it's a consultative approach. Like different customers have different requirement, different streaming format, different audience mix, and we are able to serve them. So yeah, this is the last slide. I mean, any more questions on last few slides?
Yes, I think Khalil tried to raise a question, but I'm not sure. Khalil, is your questions answered, or still you have anything, or from anyone?
No question from my side.
Okay, cool. Okay, Pandu Kumar is asking one more question. How can we best protect the content on Chromium based browsers?
So if you are talking about Chromium as in the open source Chrome, that does not support DRM. So if you implement DRM, that content will not play on Chromium. If you want content to play on Chromium, then you might have to go for something like encrypted HLS or password protection based. Okay, you meant for Chrome and Firefox. So for Chrome and Firefox, unfortunately, they fall in the L3 category. So along with DRM, you can have like a rotating license server key and some kind of allowed referral restriction. Those are the best level of content protection you can provide. L3 DRM plus some of the other features here, but based on the use case. If you go for an L2 or L1 level on Chrome, some Chrome and Firefox version, it will not play. So there is a trade-off. Like if you want higher level of DRM, then some versions of the browsers will not support that.
Understood. Yeah.
Yes, Avi.
Yeah.
One more question. How the content will be like converted to the HLS format? Your CRM will provide this functionality, or we have to do it manually?
No, I mean, so if you're asking if when you use Gumlet, then any video you upload, it gets
Yes,
converted by HLS.
like maybe we are using FFmpeg right now.
Yeah, no, we provide the transcoding functionality to convert video to HLS in different resolution.
Okay. Do you support the multiple audios and subtitle with this?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. For that, you can any Gumlet related question, you can reach out to me direct after. I think my LinkedIn URL is shared in the chat already. I'll share it again. If someone joined late and doesn't have that, I'll be able to answer on LinkedIn. Any questions there? But yeah, DRM video security. If anything. I hope, I was able to convey when it works and when it not works. I know the labels and the hardware and the key exchange and all makes it more complicated. And trust me, I have not covered a lot of things that actually happen on the background. So the techies and engineers will feel like, those things are omitted. But I took a conscious call because I thought I wanted this to be able to make sense for the business users and decision makers without getting into too much technical detail.
True. So if people are really looking for such discussions, we can go for one more session. Yes.
I'll bring in my developer who implements DRM. He would be much
True.
more
It's
qualified.
like a developer session. So
yeah, developer session is different thing.
correct.
And
Cool. Okay. Already you got a one more thumbs up that they need a developer session. Maybe we can connect on one, Naveen. So not an issue. Yes.
Devesh, is it okay to explain your pricing plan, like how you are going to assume that I have a content. So if I want to host that content on your server in a download, so how are you going to charge?
We can take it after the session because I think this is joint session. So I don't want to answer specific Gumlet related questions. But yeah, you can ping me. I'll share the details.
Yeah, we can take it offline. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll share my phone number as well, just in case. So feel free to ping me on WhatsApp. I'm active there as well. So my phone number and my LinkedIn is both are there. So either is I'll answer questions.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes. That will help to the entire team. And who has missed that session, don't worry about it. We'll record everything. We'll publish it on YouTube. You can aram se sit watch whenever you get a time. So
Sure.
yes, so you're done with the presentation, right? No.
Yes, yes, sir. That's the last slide.
Okay, cool. Then I'll
I'll
share.
stop presenting. Yeah.
Sure. Let me share mine, and I like to
Yes.
because it's taking. I don't want
Yes.
to take too much of time, so let's try to quickly
Yes.
wrap it up. Um, cool. So audience, bear with me. I'll try to quickly summarize because this topics everybody knows it. Quick introduction about me. So running this Shortfundly as a OTT marketplace, and I grew up in a video ad tech, branding video ad tech environment. I have two patents and worked on different development of SDKs in particularly advertisement industry, and started this Shortfundly in 2015 as an aggregator and pivoted as a OTT marketplace. So the objective that I took, and Devesh covered most of the tech part, and I am trying to use this DRM use case in my OTT marketplace. That what are the features we are using from a platform level, content level, and what are the global players are available in the market versus India players, DRM available in the market, and pros and cons. So try to very bullet points. I am trying to cover it out. So DRM features you can use, yes, as we discussed, user level authentication, device level production, content encryption, and also like how you seeing in Amazon Prime with a family level control, kids level control, as as Divesh said, the geolocation level restrictions you can put it on top of a content, and OTT based content license management, offline viewing. So all these things we are discussing enough, but make sure that this feature list, when you try to build your own OTTs, you have to, when you work with the DRM providers, make sure uh, they will, feature level pricing is also there. Like you should make sure that based on your requirement you have to pick and choose the features and work with them, DRM providers. And also we consistently use a DRM in our um, content type, because we use a different content. Also we onboard short films, web series, we have documentary. So different content level we are using different DRMs, and generating reports and device compatibility, like what are the things we can open up for mobile versus desktop. That's also another good use case to discuss and decide the DRM use cases. And the watermarking is available on the DRM level. We should use the visible and as well as invisible DRMs things. These are like very content specific things we need to take care of it, because we are at a Shortfundly, we are living in day out with content. So I just want to particularly point out that, um, and we just showing in a very simple example that how we are, as we discussed, you can block a country level content, and you can enable that in your content level. So you can put it on playlist level, content level. These restrictions in can be taken care by any level based on the content management system you are using. On top of that, you are using a CRM tool to help you out, right? DRM tool. So DRM tool pros and cons, I would say it will protect your IP content. If your content originals, the content IP will get protected. That's a very good advantage when we are using DRMs. And the control over the content distribution and licensing. Let's say you partner with other content partners, and you distribute your content or you license your content to rest of the partners. Then how do you make use of the DRM system, since they are not using any DRM but you are using DRM? How you can collaborate and distribute these content to rest of the partners? That's also a very good use case when you think of implementing your OTTs. So, and prevention of unauthorized copying, security layers, all these things are very much valid use cases for DRM. And the cons use level, like there is a user level restrictions. Even though they are legitimate users, their experience might be poor when you use too much of layers of DRM, because okay, it's working there, it's not working here. So they might have a different experience in using that. and since this is a very customer centric product, right? When people are keep engaging in the devices in your content, so how you can leverage this DRM on various levels, privacy concerns, because you are collecting data from users, that how much level of data you have to collect the users, and then their privacy concerns also important when you giving the input to the DRM, right? So that's another thing you have to keep in mind while you implement the DRM in your OTT system level. And I just Google it and found out. Um, sorry guys, there is a background noise. I just moved it here. Just a minute. I think there is a background noise. I'll come back. Yes, so we do notice as Gumlet is our we notice they are doing a lot of good things. That's why we pick them and hosted on this session. But we do notice other players that they are doing it in the same DRM space, at least in India level, and obviously globally there are providers are there that already uh, the Gumlet team and they have discussed a lot. So I just keep it very limited on this discussion. And what next in the DRM space is a very interesting thing, like the adoption and expansion of DRMs in various level in India market as well as global market. When you launch your DRM in global market, what are things you need to measure, plan, and do it? That's also you need to get into a place where implementing DRM. And yes, there is a way there are AI integration is also happening on in DRM level, and blockchain technology is also coming up for the particularly content rights and transactions management distribution side. I do see a lot of use cases there. So we are all as a OTT marketplace players working day in day out with videos and the tools. We are very keen on implementing DRM, and we just in a very plain vanilla level DRM implementation we have done. But thanks for the valuable inputs from the Gumlet team, that we are also planning to do some more experiment with the DRM implementations in our upcoming days. So we thank everyone in this session for participation of your active participation and valid questions to engage the audience. I'll just stop here and I'll go for the Q&A. Hopefully it's gets you engaged. So I just share my experience from how OTT platform itself we used DRM level features, as well as how we encourage others to use in what level, at least in a pilot launch or in a growth phase. What are things you should take care of it while you implement your product, right? So hopefully it helps everyone. So someone has already asked for a developer session. So we'll
Yeah.
get
So Selva, I want to understand, like, what in your experience, like, what is the level of DRM that Indian OTCs are implementing? Like, are they implementing L3, L1, L2, or like they are using the fallback mechanism so that it automatically switches? Which one is it?
So in my understanding, a lot of people I noticed are still in L1 and L2 only, L2 and L3 only, not
Mm-hmm.
apart from top players, right? Top 5 OTTs, top 10 OTTs. Forget about them. At least now growing OTT guys are still in the L2 and L3 phase only. There still
Mm-hmm.
need to be a lot of. I think there are not lot of things needs to be shared with them. Like, okay, it's not about I am delivering a content, how quality it is, how secure it is. That's still a very market level open question that everybody needs to be addressed actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Because
Still, my one question.
yes,
Like example, we request any video content to play. Assume that the content is supporting only for L1. Okay, so when you request for L1 content, my device is not supporting a L1, it's supporting only L3. Then, for backend, right, Gullet, is it possible if that content is not playing, you can create the same content for all the three, L1, L2, L3, same content. Okay, if the L1 is not playing, then instead of saying that your device is not supported, we can send the L2 content. If it is not supporting, we can send the L3 content. Is it possible to do that way?
Yes, that's what is called a fallback mechanism. So you can set it up such that it first tries to do highest level. If highest level is not available, it allows lower level also. So that's a fallback mechanism is also possible.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, and it is there right now.
Yes, yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Cool. I think we are ahead of time. So we planned for 78, but we're still. So anyone else has any other questions? Feel free to ask.
Yes.
I mean, to add on, right? So basically, DRM can be controlled at video play level. So depends on what device you are using. Like let's say web browser, right? For web browser, you can, let's say you should control at L3. If it is a supported devices of L1, you can give L1 lesson. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, what you're saying is the license URL can be modified, or the L1 level flag can be modified based on the user's device, user
Yeah.
agent.
Yeah, that's how we do it at our OTT. Yeah.
That's nice. That's nice. It's smart move.
Okay, Panda,
I
it's
mean,
like you were
sorry?
sorry, Panda, for your question, for your answer, you were saying that while requesting the content itself, you were mentioning that which DRM is supporting my client.
Yes. I mean, like, right? Your request from which client, like, let's say, what app,
Okay. Yeah,
and then
great.
you can implement like some kind of level detection on the client itself. Like, I mean, like there are ways to detect. Like, if your device supports L1, then by default you can request for L1 license.
Okay, what if that content is not created for L1?
I mean, like license is like controlled by the DRM, right? It is not depend on like how it got created by the content.
No,
So encryption is happens. Yeah, like, I mean, like encryption is happen with the same key. I mean, there are ways like there are multi key DRM also. So if it is, I mean, like encryption and DRM policy is both different. So encryption you can encrypt with the same key for both the L1 and L3 license also.
Yeah. So exactly. You don't need. So when a content is encrypted with DRM, the decryption key remains same whether it is L1, L2, or L3 or whatever. The decryption key itself, that's the part where it is get complicated. When the DRM server comes into the picture, the decryption key itself is encrypted again and sent to the user based on the user's device certificate is matching with the Apple or Google or not. So user device certificate, if it's valid, Apple or Google will send a decryption key. Now the decryption key is same. L1, L2, L3 has nothing to do with the decryption key. In fact, the decryption key or the encryption key used to process video is not even generated by Apple and Google. That is what is generated by your hosting providers. In case of Comlet, the the key that is used to encrypt the video is Comlet's key. It's not Apple or Google key. When Apple or Google comes in, is how to securely exchange the key with the client device. Whether the client device is supporting the required security level or not, or whether the client device can encrypt the key with the the device certificate or not, hardware level certificate or not.
Understood. Yeah. Anyone else? Any other questions? Okay, if not, we can wind up. I think thanks, Divesh. This is one wonderful session with a lot of insights.
Thank you for hosting me. This was an inspiration. It cleared a lot of things for our internal team as well.
Great.
Especially sales team was like confused with L1, L2, L3 when the screen recording happen when it doesn't happen. So in preparation of this session, everything was clear. Thank you very much.
Cool. Thanks a lot. Thanks, guys, for your patience and joining the session. And we look forward for the upcoming sessions. Keep supporting us. Thanks a lot. Within a 1 or 2 hours of time, this video will go live. Sorry, recorded video will go uploaded in Shortfundly YouTube channel, and they will share the link.
Without any DRM.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you, Divesh and Selvam. It was a great session. I appreciate. Okay, and even audience also, like you also supported for this thing. I know we also got some clarification wherever we have doubt. And thanks for bearing with some silly questions also. Yeah.
No silly question, and all the questions were great. I mean, it helped explain into deeper level and.
Cool.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Yes.
Bye.
Take care, guys. Bye.